We're here with Laurie Gelman. She is the author of Class Mom, a hysterical read for anybody who has been in that position.
It's loosely based on the fact that I was a class mom for 5 soul-sucking years, and I wanted it to be sort of a take on that job that sort of flips it around, because I'm kind of tired of the class mom always being like the snippy one and the one that just judgmental, and I really don't think that she is. The class mom is the cool mom. She's the one that sort of sets the pace and does all the work, and nobody seems to appreciate her. So my protagonist is Jen Dixon, and she did it once when her kids were young, and now she's had a late in life baby, and she's 47, and her son is starting kindergarten, so she's now the class mom again, and this time she's taking no prisoners.
And what she writes is completely unconventional and completely hysterical. How autobiographical is this?
Well, the emails, the first email is verbatim what I sent to my class. And some of the other ones are actually, with it, I had to change it for just to fit the book, but a lot of them are exactly what I wrote too. Even the one that had to be sung to the tune of Santa Claus is Coming to Town. That one is legitimate as well. I wrote that.
So she creates some enemies in the class, or frenemies, you might call them.
Right. And friends too. I mean, when I went through it, you could split the class with it. I mean, some people were like, oh my gosh, I've never read anything by a class mom. I look forward to your emails. They're so great. And then other people were just like, she thinks she is special, doesn't she? So.
Because I see that you take bribes, you ask for things for the parent, the parent meeting that are illegal in some parts, like the marijuana brownies.
Oh yeah, the special brownies.
The wine,
the Jello shots.
And you put pressure on the parents to respond to you right away.
Right, with their times, because you get rewarded for being a first responder. So I mean, yeah, it was all of that. It was all stuff that I did in my own class, but I didn't want to make it. Nothing that happens in the class happened to me. Like, I didn't have a crazy teacher, and I didn't those are all made up characters, and they have nothing to do with my school experience. But the emails and my determination to get everybody to just relax a little bit and take it less seriously is all in there.
Yeah, the emails are snarky. They're funny. They do offend. I suppose that they would, doing this for every, recommending doing this to any class mom, might be a little on the edge. But I think I might add some of your ideas in here this year as I become class mom for the 5th time. But I'm curious to know why you set the scene in Kansas City, Missouri. Why not New York City, where you live, and where things are so much more political and cutthroat?
Do you know that for a fact, though? I think it's political and cutthroat everywhere. I really believe that. I wanted to put it someplace where everybody can relate to it. So Kansas City, Missouri is very close to the geographic center of the United States. And so I really wanted, it's an equal opportunity slap in the face. It really is. I mean, I've talked to parents from all over the country, and if I start the conversation with, have you ever been a class mom? To the one, it's like, ugh, yes. Everybody has a story about it. It doesn't mean that it's a completely horrible job and that it's all bad, but everybody has a story about something that they had to do, or some interaction they had with another parent or a teacher. I mean, everyone has experienced it and gone down that road. So why not take it out of New York City, which I think has been overplayed anyway. I think there's been just too much about the Upper East Side moms and how, witchy they are. I don't know how much I can swear on this show, but witchy with a B they are. And really, that's the life I live, and I don't see that. I mean, when I read like Primates of Park Avenue, it just, to me, it's like too much over the top, and they don't deserve it, and they don't need it.
This book is really not over the top. Most of the things I could relate to.
I know. Seriously, I mean, there's a couple of things I think I went a little too far, but other than that, no, it's stuff that everybody deals with.
You got the mom who has the allergic child that gets on you for every class party that you have, and the mom who brags that she's from Manhattan when she's really from New Jersey, and but it has an interesting ending, which we won't give away. I was quite shocked by that.
Oh, you were? Oh, good.
You took a twist a little bit there on, there is a mystery to solve in this book. So it's not just letters to the class. There is a storyline and a mystery to solve.
Do you know what's funny is this was my first book. So I started writing it just as letters to the class and a little bit of explanation in between. And it was one of my friends who read a couple of chapters and said, something else has to happen here. Like, she needs a goal. Other things need to happen. You need more subplots. And you think you know how to write a book, but you really don't until you start writing one. And then you're like, oh, you're right. I need this and I need that. Everything has to have closure. Everything has to sort of come together. And that was a bigger challenge than probably the biggest challenge in writing it.
Yeah, I always wonder if writers just write along and then have to tie up the ends at the end, or if you've already thought about the ending for some of these characters before you wrote them.
The only thing I knew when I started was that I wanted it to start in September and end in June, which was a school year. And beyond that, when I started writing stuff, I had no idea where it was going. I don't think I would do that again, because you twist in the wind for weeks at a time wondering what the heck you're going to do next. And sometimes it hits you, and sometimes you just have to take everything back that you wrote because you have nowhere else to go with it.
Right. So you could give us an interesting perspective on a first-time writer of fiction. Many of us have a book in us, but we don't think about how to put it on paper, or don't have the time to sit there and think it out. So do you think it's true that we all have a story in us? And how do you go about making that leap from what you were doing, you were a broadcaster for many years, to becoming an author?
Well, I mean, I was a broadcaster for many years, then I became a mom, and that was my second act. So when I realized I wanted a third act and I wanted to write something, I think that what you have to do is talk to other people, because I don't think everybody knows what their story is. I really believe that. I think everybody has a story, but as Steve Hartman points out on 60 Minutes and the CBS Evening News, sometimes it takes somebody else to pull that story out of you. And for me, I wanted to write a children's book so badly. And I wrote one, and I got it rejected 37 times. It was brutal. And I was with my book agent, and I was complaining that I couldn't believe it. This was such a great story, this great kids book, and there's so much crap out there. And then my phone buzzed, and I was something about my class mom duties. I was a class mom that year, and I started just riffing about this. Oh my God, and like expletive, and these parents and driving nuts. And he was crying, laughing, and he said, "That's your book," and I'm like, "That's my book? Are you kidding me?" And you know what? He was right. I didn't see it. I would never have written this book, but he said, "That's like, you should hear yourself talk about this."
Right.
So I think everybody can sit down an hour a day in front of a computer and just vomit out thoughts. I think that is the way to start. You don't have to have an outline and a vision. You just have to start finding your voice. And the way I found my voice was being class mom and writing the emails, but also I blogged for a couple of years, which nobody read, but it's okay because I did it for myself, and I developed a writing style and a personality doing that.
And you were disciplined enough to sit there and do this every day.
You have to. Well,
take time out of your busy day.
Right. I didn't have a busy day. That's the point. My kids are off at school all day, and but you do have to treat it like a job. Like, you have to take at least, I say 2 hours, but if you really are super busy, take an hour, sit down, and whether you write 5 words or 500, it doesn't matter. Just get it out there. Whatever it is you're thinking of, whatever story you want to tell, treat it like a job. Like, you have to be there for this time to this time every day.
Right.
And get off the Wi-Fi. Do not get suckered into, looking at your email or anything else. Just stay away.
Right. And you talk about writing several drafts of the book and kind of cringing when people read it, and then you'd have to do a rewrite. But I guess something like this needs a lot of eyes before it actually goes to print.
I think that really helps. First of all, you get your friends or people that you trust, really close friends or people who love to read, will give you some good feedback along the way. Ultimately, you have to, give a package to somebody. And the rewriting, the magic is in the rewriting. It really is. It's having somebody else's perspective. Like, I handed this book in, and it was a perfect circle of love. I thought this was perfect. And I gave it to Macmillan, Henry Holt, and they said, "We love it, but you need to add one more plot line." And when you think about it, this is a perfect circle, and they want you to jam a triangle into it. It's like, are you kidding me? That was the hardest thing I've ever done. But I think I did it well because people always ask me what the added-on plot line was.
What was it?
You want me to tell you?
Will it give away the ending of the book?
The entire Such a Fox plot line was completely added in after the entire book had been read.
The main character, Jen Dixon, bumps into her old crush in high school. He happens to be a father in the class, and then they carry on this sort of texting affair.
Kind of.
Yeah. It's real. It's real. And did you have to do research? I mean,
the only research
you had it all in your head.
It was all in my crazy, crazy head, except, the internet is amazing because I placed it in Kansas City, Missouri, which I've never been there. But you can Google anything, and you can Google the name of the person who owns the restaurant so that you can even add that in if you want. And what's on the menu and where it is exactly and what's it beside in case, like, they have to go to the gas station after dinner. You know where you're going. It's an amazing thing. And I came to love Kansas City, Missouri, and I can't wait to go visit it because I think it sounds like such a cool town.
Yeah. I'd like to go to this school where Jen Dixon is. Because she's a real ball of fire.
Yeah.
And I also, reading the afterword in this where you thank people, you thank comedian Carolyn Ray, who is hysterical.
Yes.
She was one of your proofreaders?
She was. She's a very good friend. She lives, a block and a half away from me, and we exercise together. And she gave me, as I said, the best line in the book, what I think is the best line in the book.
What was it? Because you say, I'll leave it to you to figure that out. There were so many laugh out loud lines, and I'm like, what is it?
Oh my gosh, it's why oh why is it that the allergy mom is always herself a nut?
Yeah.
I thought that was a great line. She put it in there.
That is so true. So you say you get asked, you've been on the tour promoting the book, and you get asked a lot about what advice would you give to a class mom, but this book is not that. It's a fiction about a mom who just tries to shake it up a little bit.
Right, exactly. And if I was asked for advice, that is the advice I would give. Make it your own. Make it fun for yourself. Because if you're having fun with it, then everybody is. Don't just cut and paste the PTA, grocery list email and then just any questions at the bottom. Mm-hmm. Like, make it your own. And that's what I did. That's what I do in the book. And I think that it makes it a better and more fun experience for everybody.
Right. And some may not know, but you are the wife of Michael Gelman, who is longtime producer, started with Kathy Lee and Regis, and now it's Kelly. And
I always say he has Ryan. Yeah,
Ryan.
Doesn't trip off your tongue yet. It'll happen because he's still new. I always say to Michael that he has the worst resume in television because he's had one job for 35 years.
Right, right. But he's funny. When they put him on camera, he's always like the comic foil. He's the straight man. So did you get anything from him, or is it all you?
This was all me. He's a funny guy, and a lot of people really don't know that because they think of him as the downtrodden, poor Gelman gets beat up on, but he is a very, very sharp wit. I did not let him read the book until I was finished with it. And the biggest compliment I could have ever gotten from him was he said, "This is actually really funny." And that was when he said when he finished it, which was great. He loved it.
Not too many pages, so you could read it over 2 nights. I think I did.
I always say it's the easiest book you'll ever read. So once you've read like the Pulitzer Prize nominees or the Booker Prize winners, then you have a little break and you read Class Mom because we need these books too.
We do, and it was such a great beach read in August because I knew it was coming. It just prepares me, I guess, for the duties that lie ahead. So thanks so much for coming on Author Talks. And it's Class Mom. It is on store shelves. You can buy it on Amazon or BarnesandNoble.com or anywhere that books are sold. And it's really a riot. So thank you so much, Laurie, for coming on and talking with us today.
Thanks, Marla. I had fun. Thanks.